Do you have any instance or memory?
I was in grade 7 and it was my first experience with racism.
Can you tell me a few things that you have learned from them?
And a lot of times kids will not listen to what they say, they'll watch what you do. They learned the Ramayana. By the time they were 3 years old, they knew the Ramayana story.
Hi Sharmila, how are you today?
I'm well, Kritika ji. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming and accepting my request. I'm really honored to have you.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm honored for the opportunity to speak with you today.
So I want to ask you, how was it for young Sharmila to grow up in Whitby as one of the very few Indo-Guyanese families back then? So can you take us back?
So I was originally born in Mississauga, and because of my dad's job, we moved to Whitby when I was 7 going on 8. It was a very small town.
Yeah.
So when I did go to school, I was the only person of color at that time. I wasn't always treated differently, but I always felt different.
Do you have any instance or memory that you can very vividly recall from that time? Maybe a good or bad memory?
So a good memory would be that on my very first day of school, I had gone to the principal's office and he had asked me if I wanted to start right away or if I wanted to take a break and come the next week. And I was ready to go, ready to start right away. And he called 2 girls from my class, my grade 2 class, to come and get me. And they came and they were so happy. They took me by the hands and they took me up the stairs, and I started off like my education there very nicely, and they were my friends all the way through elementary school.
Yeah.
So that was a really good experience, that they were just so open. They didn't see me any differently than themselves, and we just got along so well. One experience that I did see later on, though, I was in grade 7 and it was my first experience with racism.
Okay.
Back then we used to have, for school fundraising, we used to have something called bake sales. And parents would either buy something from the grocery store if they didn't want to make something, or they would make like a home-baked goods or sweets, treats, and we would bring it to school. So I remember distinctly being in the lineup with my friend, and she had noticed that somebody else's cookies were a little bit burnt. It was like a chocolate chip cookie or something. And she's like, your cookie is a little bit burnt. And the boy who was standing behind his cookies got a little defensive, but then he directed that defensiveness to me, and he said that, he's like, no, the cookies aren't burnt, but you certainly are.
Oh.
And I was shocked, but right away my friend, she was really quick with it, and she was like, oh my God, that's racist, like you shouldn't say that. Yeah. And that was my first experience with racism. But I would say overall my experience was okay, but I did know that I was different.
Did you always struggle between trying to embrace your own roots and at the same time trying to fit in your peer groups?
Yeah, that was definitely a factor. I think any kid in general just wants to fit in, but there was that part of me where culturally, I knew that at home, my mom would be doing her puja in her puja room. We would celebrate Diwali, Holi, and none of that was ever expressed to my friend circle. And when I was at school, I was just assimilating to whatever the movies they were watching, the music they were listening to, whatever was the cool toys at the time. I was just trying to absorb and fit in.
So now coming to the most important part, when you get married and when you decide to have kids, like what was the preparation? Because you mentioned a lot about Garbh Sanskaras.
For me, I did not know anything about the Garbh Sanskaras, but as I wanted to conceive and I wanted to bring a different world to my kids, I did start looking into it. Like, what does Hinduism have to say about babies and conceiving and bringing children into the world? And it just so happened that I came across, we had gone to a BAPS in Toronto, and I had just bought this book on Viva Samskar. So I was just buying this out of interest from their store, and I happened upon a section about the Garbh Sanskaras.
Okay.
And just reading and understanding, there's so much benefit and so much thought that was put into these samskars for the benefit of the couple. And it's basically just to help you start off on the right foot. When I looked into the samskars, I realized that in Hinduism, we already thought about this, and they came up with these samskars to help guide that next step. And it's right from birth all the way until
your
death. Yes.
Yeah, death
So
rites.
we've planned out this timeline for you. And to ease the timeline, we've invoked like different mantras and deities and energies to help guide you.
Yeah.
So what I did was right away, I got in touch with a pandit that was close to our family, and we started discussing like what we were going to do. So we did go through with some of the pujas, and when I did get pregnant, I also continued with the Samotanayan Sanskar. The husband would like feed the mom some kitri, and then the mother-in-law and mom would like decorate the mommy's hair, mommy to be's hair, jasmine flowers. We did like a puja as well, and just to bless me and baby before baby comes into the world. And then even when my first child was born, we did his Namkaran Sanskar as well to name him. And then after when he was 3 years old, we did his Mundan Sanskar. And personally, I feel that doing all of this has set my son on the right path for school.
Yeah.
Because when he went to school, of course, it's always hard to adjust. But when I look back at the feedback I've gotten at the end of the year, he's been in school for 3 years now, everything is just positive. And I feel like doing the samskars gives him a really good foundation so that when it comes time for the learning, the teachers are recognizing the foundation that was set before. If you understand the samskaras in that light, some people say that you cannot shape the mind of a child. They come with their own mind, right?
I think that is also partially true.
Partially true, but partially true because the parents and the samskaras and whatever things you do shape that child in their younger years.
Yes.
It's later on when I would say the child now has to become more independent, think more clearly on their own, have that discriminatory power. But from the time when they were younger, they need to be shaped and molded in such a way that they're coming into the world very innocent, very light, happy and joyful, the way that we would expect children to be. So with my Guruji, if anybody tells him my kid doesn't want to do this anymore, or they used to do this when they were small, but now they don't want to do anything, he always asks them, did you explain to them the importance or the reason why you were doing it when they were small? Even the bhajans that they're listening to, the mantras that they're chanting, do they know the meaning? Because in life, we always do things because of the meaning.
Yes.
Like, what do we get out of it?
Yeah.
So it's really important for parents to start at a young age, from the time the child is a newborn. Train yourself to understand what you are teaching them so that they have a reason why they're doing it. If you don't have a reason for why you are doing something, why should you continue to do it?
Yeah, and why kids should follow you.
Yes, right.
I mean, they're not bound to follow you if they don't know the reason.
No. And a lot of times kids will not listen to what they say, they'll watch what you do. So you'll notice that like whatever you took from your parents some of it you may have listened and you registered in your mind, but much of what you took from your parents was what they did.
Yes.
What you watched them do.
Yes.
And then you repeat it in your day-to-day activities. So that's what I realized for my own kids, is that more than listening to me, they will be watching my actions. Yeah. But I'm also taking the time to explain why we're doing it. So they understand. So when by the time my child was 3 and he had his Mundan Sanskar, and my second son as well, they knew why they were doing it. And I just made it very simple for them in their language that this was your baby hair. It carries a different energy from mommy's body. And now we're starting off with you as becoming a bigger boy. You're changing your energy as you're growing, and you're going to be starting school soon. So we need to start you off with new, fresh hair, and for your new journey into school or into the big boy life. So I just dumbed it down to them for them to understand and make it exciting.
So what are some of the rituals that you do with your kids?
I'm also learning. So this is like, I'm on a learning curve as I go through. The first thing we did before they went anywhere else in our house, they went straight to our puja room. And it was there at our puja room that we introduced them to the home, to Bhagwan. And we asked Bhagwan to, welcome this baby into our home and as part of our life now. And from that day, every single morning, before we go downstairs, my kids, we all go to the altar room and we light a diya. We do like a short, fun meditation. We would ring a bell. My older son knows how to blow the shank.
Okay.
So he would blow the shank in the
I
morning.
will learn from him.
Yes. He would blow the shank in the morning. My other son would take the bell and ring the bell. And then we do meditation, the Om, and then we go into Vakratunda Mahakaya to ask Ganapati to remove any obstacles for our prayers and our day. And then we say Om Shanti, we finish our prayer, we bow, we take blessings from Agni Devata, and we go downstairs to start our day. Now, all of that sounds long as I'm explaining it, but really it takes 5 minutes. And that 5-minute ritual has to be done before they go downstairs. So no matter what, they're not going downstairs until that part is done for their day. Then we go downstairs and we have breakfast.
Yeah.
One other thing we do during breakfast is we always play the Hanuman Chalisa. And something that I didn't know was going to happen, but it came naturally as a result of doing it. They memorized the Hanuman Chalisa just by listening to it every day.
Okay.
And then now it's more of a matter of correcting them as they go along when they're singing it. But to have that happen so organically without my intervention, that's something I didn't realize. I didn't realize that was going to happen, and when it did, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
So knowing that that happened, I started doing more things, and we started acting out the Ramayana at home with their toys. Whatever toys they had, it just makes it funny. Spider-Man is like Sri Ram. We did Ghost Spider as like Ma Sita. And then we had like Cookie Monster as Rawan. And so we would act out everything at home, and they learned the Ramayana. By the time they were 3 years old, they knew the Ramayana story.
Yeah.
I'm not forcefully putting them to sit down and do things, but I'm just bringing bits and pieces into their lives and just making it part of their lifestyle.
And I think these things go a long way, right?
Yeah,
even
they
these
do.
little 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and you also introduce your kids to yoga at a very young age. I was very surprised when you first reached out to me. So what was in your mind? Why did you want? Because you're already doing so much. So why yoga?
For my own journey, I realized probably in my mid-30s, and I had ideas of this before, but it became stronger in my 30s, where I realized that people who have a foundation of yoga and meditation at an earlier age, they seem to do life better. And those are probably not the best words, but the way I see it is that there is something that changes within their personality and themselves that allows them to meet challenges in a different way than someone who is not. You actually bring tools into your life that allow you to navigate the challenges better. So when I started thinking this way, I realized that if I want that for my kids to be able to navigate the challenges of life, I should start them early.
Yeah.
It's not something I had. It's not something that my parents knew about or thought about or thought was important. But I wanted that for my kids. So I was looking for yoga classes that were from a dharmic perspective, because what I see now in
a lot of corruption.
Yeah. There's. I won't even go into the details because I'll just get very heated. but it has been destroyed.
Every day, someone or the other, one friend or the other keeps sending me these videos about beer yoga, goat yoga, and then they have all kind of
snake
all these
yoga,
crazy yoga, So
yes. So that is what I didn't want, and even the ones that are being done at fitness.
Like an exercise,
because none of that focused on making that mind and body connection. They're treating it as an exercise, or to lose weight, or just relaxation, which is good. I mean, you get relaxation as a result of it, but that's not the purpose.
But people are very inclined to only the physical aspect of it. So everyone comes to me this is very interesting that people come and they say, oh, can you teach headstand? But you have to first prepare your energy,
Yeah.
right? You cannot do a
Yes.
headstand or
Just like
shoulder
that.
stand just like that. And it's not about
The rush.
the act of doing it, it's about how you do it. So
Yes.
we are more inclined towards, as you said very beautifully, the physical aspect of it.
Yes, yes. And that's what
Yeah.
I didn't want for my kids if I was signing them up for that. I wanted them to have the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual all coming together in the practice. And they may not see that at their age. For them, it's just, the movements, being flexible, whatever it is at that age. But knowing what it's doing for them on a different level. And as they get older and they start to understand why they're doing it, that will create a different mindset for them going forward.
It compounds. It
Yes.
compounds over a
Yes.
period of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So Sharmila, I read it somewhere, not somewhere actually, I have heard it from many people that when a child come into your life, it is the time that you learn from that fresh life rather than teaching them. And you have two beautiful kids. So can you tell me a few things that you have learned from them, because you are spending time with your kids and you are a very aware mother. So yeah, what some things that you have learned from your kids?
That's a good. It's very true. It's true that while you are busy teaching your kids, we as parents have a lot of learning to do from the children as well, because these are new people in your life.
Yes.
When they come out of our tummies and we're looking at them, we have never seen them before. We have never lived any life with them before. They are complete strangers in the physical world, in the physical sense. But what we have to realize is that they are here to teach us lessons as well as we go through that journey. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned from my eldest when he was born is having to learn patience, more patience. Like, I thought I was patient, or I thought I was calm. And I didn't know that I could be triggered. Because
Sorry, I'm laughing, but it's very funny the way you're explaining.
yeah, because I was just going about my day, just like every day I go about with Sean, and we live our life, and then this little boy comes in, he turns my world upside down, throws me for a loop, and now I realize that there are parts of my personality that can be triggered that I didn't know about.
Yes.
And if I didn't have him, I wouldn't have known that, and then I wouldn't have been able to work and do the work on it and see that I have things that need to be worked on. So I feel like children have that opportunity of coming into our worlds, shaking them up, and making us realize that we have more work to do. There's more inner work to be done.
Yes.
If you think you're going in as a parent the same way you are when you're pregnant versus after giving birth, you're going to have a lot of problems. You need to learn to open up. You need to learn to change your way of thinking and adapt to new practices and enforce them. Do the work. Your child is here to change you, and you should be ready for change.
So now, Sharmila, coming to you, the most inspiring part of, not that other parts were not inspiring, but one of the part that I really wanted to discuss and I never got an opportunity to discuss is your Balvikas classes. So what made you think that okay, now it's time for you, that you want to contribute to the community and society? I mean, we all want to contribute, but given your situation, you have two kids, a lot of work already. What made you think, and how did you come up with this idea of Balvikas classes?
So it's we always had them at our mandir, at the Devi Mandir in Pickering. It had been going on for years.
Okay.
And there were other teachers that were handling it at the time. Later on, it came to a point where my husband took over the classes at the Devi Mandir, and he started teaching. And what happened is that there was a few times where I would have to substitute, just be like a substitute teacher for some of the classes. So I kind of stepped in here and there to help out. So that was not something that was on my mind at all. But the few times that I did it, it went really well. And the students were very receptive to me. They were already very receptive to my husband. And it was actually because of the Balvikas classes that he was doing that spurred on his Hindu lifestyle YouTube channel, because they asked him to put these lessons onto YouTube so that other kids could learn worldwide. And we had actually moved to another mandir later on. And at that time, there was nobody to teach. And my husband asked me, do you want to start teaching? And we didn't have kids at that time. And I was a little apprehensive. And I said, you know what, let me just start off with the small kids and let me do the younger group. And that's what he did. So we had someone to do the middle group. So we have it in 3 sections. So we have like 4 to 7, and then 8 to 12, and then 12 and up. So I started taking on the group of the 4 to 7-year-olds, and we had someone else for the 8 to 12, and then Sean was doing 13 and up. So he was doing more harder topics like the philosophical understanding of Hinduism, problems that Hindus are facing around the world, like the young people, how they understand Hinduism coming from their parents. Like, he went on the harder topics, controversial topics as well, and also comparative religion. My inway into the teaching was to do one deity a month, so like one form of Bhagwan a month. So we would start off in September with Ganeshji. Back in October, we would start with Ma Lakshmi.
So what do you teach to kids?
So what we started off, I had a format of mantra. We would practice a mantra for 1 month. And then, because these were just Sunday classes, so it's once a week for about an hour. So we would do so for instance, for September, if I started with Ganesh, we would do a Ganesh mantra that we memorized during the course of that month.
Okay.
And then we would talk about Ganapati. So like 1 week, I would just talk about Ganapati, all of his features when you look at his image. Then the second week, I might talk about his mom and dad. So I might talk about Lord Shiva and Ma Parvati. And then the third week, we talk about his siblings. We talk about Kartikeya or Murugan. And we talk about their relationship, about the story with the mango or chasing each other around you know, the world and their parents. And then the fourth week was usually just a review. And then at the end of each lesson, we ended off with like a coloring or some type of activity or some type of hands-on, like doing something with Play-Doh or creating something with a construction paper. Like, so we would always do like a little activity at the end. Given that it was an hour, we didn't have a whole lot of time. But with the hour that we had, we tried to make use of it. And it was amazing. Like my class was actually the biggest class by the end of the year. I had about 14 or 15 kids that I was teaching.
Nice.
So the push for me and Sean was to educate kids because we are born and raised Canadians. And we were still able to maintain our Hindu heritage and still be what I feel. We're Canadian. We're living the Canadian life. We are, going to work, providing to society, contributing to society as well. And we wanted this for other kids to feel comfortable that they can maintain a Hindu lifestyle at home or even outside of the home, as well as being Canadian and being in the Canadian environment. So that's really our push for these classes, is to instill that identity and that comfort, because we didn't have that growing up. Both of us didn't have that comfort growing up. And now that we are comfortable and we're so involved in everything, we want other kids to feel that same sense of involvement and comfort and happiness with their roots. And now that we have kids, it becomes even more important, because what are you passing on to them?
Yes.
For their future. So now that my kids are seeing us teach, not only are they getting what they learn at home, but they're learning just by the way we are teaching. And then they get to have fun, because we tried to do, like, we did a field trip to Vishnu Mandir in Toronto as well. So they got to go on the bus, and that was an event by itself, to get to go on the school bus, go visit the mandir, come back on the school bus. And creating these memories for them. As a parent, I plant the seeds. And whether the seeds take fruit 10 years from now, 20 years from now, or 2 lifetimes from now, somewhere along the line, what I'm doing now will have a good karma, like a good, effect for them.
Yes, that's the best way to approach anything in life.
Yes.
So with these classes, do you have any instances that you would like to share where you taught a kid, about some aspect of Hinduism or culture, and it gave them confidence, and that moment where you feel, oh wow, that's why I'm doing this. So I'm sure you would have many such moments. So if you want to share.
There are a lot of moments because the kids do start to get involved. And I mean, not everybody, like, some are more quiet than others, and some are a little bit more outspoken. than others as well. There's a balance. But what I would say is I had gone to my son's school and I had the opportunity to speak about Diwali to his classroom. And I did bring that story to the parents and the children of my class. And I did ask or suggest that they talk to their schools if they're interested, and going and speaking about Diwali and having the kids do a craft.
Yeah.
And what I did was I had my script, which I was willing to share with the parents. I also gave them the activity, like how to do the activity, what to get. So I gave them all the resources they needed. And there were a few parents that actually went and had the opportunity to do Diwali sessions at their kids' school. And not only did they come back and thank me, but they were so happy that they did it.
Yeah.
One, that they got the opportunity to do it. Two, that they did it. And three, that their child saw them do it.
Yes.
That push to help parents and children feel that they can speak about their traditions outside of home was one of the biggest and most rewarding things that happened for me.
Yeah. And in terms of kids, they must be coming and sharing. So any particular experience that stood out for you?
So we had a session on bullying.
Okay.
We talked about bullying in the classroom, and it was just based on religion and like your culture and your traditions that you grew up with. And sometimes other kids may make fun of you, or they may say something inappropriate. What was funny, because these were just small kids that I was talking to, but they were so engaged in the conversation that they talked about instances where they felt bullied.
Oh, really?
Yeah, whether it was because of tradition or not, there was instances where they felt bullied by another child. And what one parent told me is that her kid, she was 6 years old, she went to school and somebody said something to her. And I don't know if it was based on her tradition or whatever, but she had taken so much of the class to heart. She told them, she's like, oh, I'm going to tell my Balvikas teacher that you're bullying. And it's not okay.
Wow. So at least they have that safe space where they can come and share.
Yes.
So Sharmila, before we go or before we sign out from this conversation, for all those parents who are new immigrants and are very overwhelmed, not sure where to start, what is one piece of advice that you would like to give them so that they can be connected to their roots?
One important thing I would say is have a puja room somewhere in your home. Where you are all making the effort at least one time a day, and it should be everybody in the family. Number two, find a mandir as close as you have to your home, where even if you're not visiting every week, maybe once a month, bi-monthly, like every 2 months, have somewhere where there is a community that you can reach out to when you need to perform your own pujas. And then reaching out to family and friends who are like-minded. I am also very open to anyone that needs help or those resources. So through you, they can contact me.
Yes.
Very willing to help. Both me and my husband, we work with a lot of the immigrant families. Actually, our entire Balvikas class, I would say 90% are immigrant families that are new to Canada, and they just want to have some type of connection for their child outside of their home. So those are three things that I would say is the puja room, the mandir, and having like social connections that people you can reach out to that you trust. And if you don't, I'm here.
She's your go-to person.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Sharmila. I'm really honored to have you, and I personally gained so much from this conversation, and I'm sure many parents will get benefited. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.